Hi,
Okay.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. You look great. You're looking
Thank
really good. I
you.
love this pink on you. You look-
Thank you.
you are welcome. You're welcome. First and foremost, thank you for coming on another episode of One on One with Courtney Starks, and thank you for allowing me the opportunity to change. These platforms, you know how it is with them trying to respond to Black content. And one of the things that we realized is there's been a lot of issues happening, but that come with progress. That means that we're doing the job. You know what I mean?
I know. I know.
So, I was saying this earlier to a friend of mine, like, you are like the sister or the aunt, all in all things media. But you have been doing this for a very, very long time. But to take things back, you are from Seneca, South Carolina, and
Yeah.
you are now living in LA. So let's talk about media just for a second before we kind of dive in to other things. Share with us how you got your start. What inspired you? Where did you pull the creativity from to want to get into broadcasting, media, radio, TV?
Well, I got my start when I was living in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I was teaching school. I was also in getting my doctorate, and it was like a whole nother world before I even got into radio and TV. But I started with that. I was in between classes, and I saw something that said talk radio. And I was like, you know what? I'm thinking about having my own show.
Yeah.
I grew up, my parents had their own gospel and TV radio show. My father, he's a minister. So, I grew up in it, but I never really wanted to do it. You know what
right.
I'm saying?
You never want to do what your parents are doing, right? Like, I gotta do
No,
something else.
because they will always have to wake us up in the morning time. And, I was like, okay, I don't want to do this. But for some reason, we always end up eventually doing something.
The thing, right? Some instance, we're always dipping in something like-minded to them. Yeah.
Yes. But I started researching. I was like, okay, I see the different platforms. Mind you, at this time, online radio was, everybody wanted to quote unquote go to real radio or be on a real radio station. And they didn't want to interview. They didn't want to do these things, because at the time it wasn't big. But I knew it was big and what was to come. I knew it. So I was in the era where, we was really crawling. We was crawling before we was walking, And so one day on my break, I said I wanted to create this show. So I did it. And I had a friend with me, but she wasn't interested. She just, was on there to give me the support.
Right.
And, the first day I did the show, that Friday, I had celebrity guests, already reaching out to me.
Wow.
And it was Tyler Perry actors from his plays. So I was like, wow, I'm hitting it hard in the beginning. So in the beginning, I'm gonna tell you my show, it was, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how I was doing it. And I was just, doing something. So we had rappers on. They would say anything. They would call me during the drive-through.
Oh my God.
We had, what is his name? Trick Daddy. We had him, JT Money, everybody. JT Money was going through the drive-through. Trick Daddy would call me on the in the studio, and we would go live. And we got this on the radio, and it's out there. If you Google it, you will see it. But it's amazing how in the beginning, I didn't know what I was doing, but I made sure I turned it into a business in the beginning as well, even though I didn't know what I was doing.
Right. And I think a lot of times people wait, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's not right, or it's not this, so I want it to be a specific way. And it's like, you got to start somewhere. We all had to start somewhere. Just make it something tangible. You know what I mean? No one's going to believe what you're doing if they can't see what you're doing. You know what I mean?
So and I got a lot of big breaks in the beginning when I first started, when I didn't know what I was doing. And that's why I tell people to this day, just do you, you know, keep going, keep pushing, no matter what it is, do what you love. And, you know, it don't have to be 10 or 11 years from now that you're going to get your big break. I got a lot in the beginning.
Right.
So you don't ever know, and you're going to grow and you're going to change over time. So.
Yeah. You know, you said something that, you know, you were an educator. You were in education for 7 years. And I think a lot of times people think when people jump into entrepreneurship, it's there. You go and you start flying. And I want to kind of speak to that for a little bit, because I want to ask you, you started your entrepreneurship, you went into business, you got your stuff going, you get into radio. Do you still keep the job, or do you quit the job and go right into your business? How did you balance both, if you were able to?
Well, I was transitioning into just, you know, entrepreneurship, because I didn't see myself wanting to, even though I was working with kids, something I love to do.
Yeah.
But I knew that I didn't want to be in, you know, just working every single, because I feel like, you know, life is short. And just imagine, you know, because I know from our parents, they worked from 50 and 60 years.
Yeah.
And some parents don't have anything to show for it. You know, all you did was work. You didn't live your life.
Right.
You know, and I feel like, yes, we have to work to pay the bills. I do understand that. But also, you know, I mean, it feels good to not be able to work, but also pursue your passion.
I agree. And I think a lot of people think like it has to be either or. And sometimes both can exist at the same time.
You can do both.
You can pursue your dream and work and fund the very thing that you are trying to pursue. And I feel like people kind of get that confused. Like at some point, you need to have both so that one can grow. You know what I mean? I always think about it like a baby, right? Like that baby needs nurturing. It needs to be fed until it can start walking and doing things on its own. And a lot of times that's the job. You know what I mean?
And some people like to downplay people that work and pay for their passion.
Yes.
You can't do that, you know, and everybody's journey is different.
Yeah.
You know, some of us have to work a little harder to get to where we are or need to be. And some have things handed to them.
I agree.
You know, everybody's journey is different. So you can't compare yourself to anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like you said, every story is different. It's purposeful that way. It's supposed to be different. But in the midst of all that you were going through, you had some challenges. You know, we have that in common. And I think for me, just kind of when my team told me about you coming on the show, I was like, finally, that I can talk with somebody who understands what this life has been like. So let's kind of dive into just kind of going through the process. I know that first you went through like brain surgery.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that process before we get into kidney failure. So if you don't
that's
mind,
what caused it.
Oh, that I didn't know. So if you can, let's kind of go through that journey of kidney failure and brain surgery. And when did you find out? How did you go about doing it? And where are you right now?
I'll never forget this day. I was booked for an event in Florida for the Nikki Rich show live. And I was coming home September the 25th, 2017. You know, I felt a little dizzy.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I was home, you know, back in LA, And I was like, it wasn't nothing big. It was just something very small.
Yeah.
And I told my friend, and I was like, hey, I'm feeling a little dizzy. She said, maybe you might need to go to the hospital, because she was going too. Because I was really going to go and support her. And I was like, you know what? I better do that. So when I got to the hospital, they checked me out, and I promise you, immediately they moved me to a whole nother hospital, transferred me, and told me that I was diagnosed with end-stage renal disease. And, then
I have chills just hearing you say that, because I remember being in that sort of same predicament. So they tell you have end-stage renal disease. First of all, you go there because you're feeling a little dizzy. And then the doctors tell you this news. Where did you go mentally?
Oh my God, it was scary. It was scary because I think that day my whole life changed.
Yeah.
Because our Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, everything that you had, it changed.
Yeah.
Your days are given up to stay alive on a machine.
Yeah, I agree. So you go through this process, you have this brain surgery. Why was the brain surgery necessary?
What happened was last August, September, the very first week of August, I was asleep in my bed and I fell off the bed. I was like, this is weird. I don't know what's happening. And you know how like my vision, it was blurry and then I could see a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was like, I fell off the bed, so I got back up and then I fell again and I tried to lift my arm.
Oh my God.
And it was just flopping down. It was just, I was like, what is going on? And I couldn't feel my left side. And I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And I knew I was on the floor. I was on the floor. And even if you look at my room, I'm a very neat, clean person. But in my room looked like a hurricane.
Wow.
And my mom, when she flew out here and I was in the hospital, she had told me it looked like I was fighting in the room.
Oh my God.
So I had pulled the mattress off and it was as if I was scraping the bed or something.
Oh my goodness.
And I always keep my phone by me, but thank God I called 911 and they came out. They had to jump through my windows.
Oh my goodness, right. So what did they say was wrong?
It was blood clot to my brain.
Oh wow. And this was due from the dialysis?
Yes. From kidney.
Oh my goodness. But you're here, right?
I'm here.
You're here. You get through this, you are on dialysis, and your process, because I have to say, when I started my show when my kidneys failed me in 2010, and I had to stop because for me, it was overwhelming, right? It was just so much going on. Being on a machine 4 or 5 hours is draining spiritually, mentally, and physically, if anything, physically. And like for me, I found myself needing the whole day to rest, needing the whole day to kind of recuperate just to be able to get to the next day. And I couldn't do this anymore. I couldn't finish school. It was working, doing dialysis, and it's trying to make it through the day. But you have allowed yourself to come back out of this and be transparent on social media. Why did you feel like it was important to share your journey with so many people?
I share it, but I feel like other kidney patients share more than I do. But I feel like, because you see how I'm glammed up today.
Yeah.
And I just had dialysis, but you got to think about it. God, he the one that gets me up every day because we are made of his image.
Yes.
And God is perfect. He's beautiful. He looked good,
Yeah.
He gave you life today. Why would you not look your best and be your best?
Come on, and give your best, right?
Mm-hmm.
And give your best.
Why not?
Right. He deserves it.
I don't care how I'm feeling.
Yep.
He blessed me,
Come on. And and I think a lot of people don't understand that. I was in a group that I had to kind of remove myself from because they were like wallowing in the sickness, and I'm like, that in itself will get you sicker than anything else. You know what I mean? Like, thank God for the technology. Thank God for the people who were able to come up with this thing to keep us going. You know what I mean? No matter how difficult it is. Now, COVID happened because if it's not one thing, it's another. COVID happened, and a lot of us had to pivot. So for you, when it comes to your show and being an ambassador, how were you able to encompass that and pivot to keep your show going? And did you find that it helped your business or did it hurt your business?
It was the same. We started online.
Come on, God. Come on, God.
Nothing changed. Nothing changed.
Yeah. So when you think overall about everything that you've gone through, even the challenges you are still facing right now, where do you see yourself going in the next couple of months? What is your mission? Has that changed? Being that you are I always claim survivor. I always claim transplant. I always claim that, right? Because I believe that that's what God is calling us to. No matter what we got to get through, God is gonna bless us, whether it's on this side or the other side. So I'm claiming that healing over your life. And I want to ask, like, for you, has your mission and your foundation changed going through this process right now for your show and for your business?
Well, I feel that each year I set goals for myself, and they are different every single year. And I know in the previous goals, I felt like I was taking care of self, but not really including that in my goals. And this year is completely self, goal.
Yeah.
It's completely working, my goal is kidney transplant. And, I'm still also, doing the show, but doing it on my own time. And, God's time, pretty much. Everything is on God's time for me. But I feel like my goal this year is self-care, health, spirituality, getting closer to him. It's a balance of everything in life that I love and that I do. Family life. Right now, my father is in the hospital battling stage 4 cancer. He's, in his last days, and any time now, I'm going to get that call, oh, you got to come to South Carolina or what have you. But, we serve a God that's powerful. He's a healer. He is the doctor. The doctor's saying, oh, the doctor's telling me one thing. And, I know God,
Come on. The real
he ain't
healer.
going yet.
Right. He's still here. Come on.
Yes. So you can't count him out. You can, but I'm dealing with that, like as I just said, today I just had dialysis. And so I'm getting phone calls, not only from the doctors, from my daddy, because I'm the oldest, but I'm getting them from,
your people.
So,
right.
Yeah.
So speaking about, health, I want to congratulate you. Your weight loss journey has been amazing. If I can think of an inspiration, I go to your page and I'm like, okay, so maybe I won't eat this pork chop today, because if Nikki Rich can come on here and tell us that she's doing this, then I can do this too. So talk about what inspired the journey, and where are you now, and how do you feel knowing you've lost so much?
Oh, I get excited about this. What inspired me was that you know, we talk about warriors, kidney warriors, survivor, but I feel like you got to do something about it. Do your part. What can you do to, you know, live longer? What can you do to get healthier? So I was like, I got to lose this weight. You know, I had been doing it already. I have been working on my food already. Yeah. But, you know, I wasn't focused. And last May, I was like, you know what? You need to get focused, you know, and get this weight off. So I changed my eating, meaning I was eating protein and vegetables, but I ate the vegetables I like. You have to eat the food that you like, not something that somebody's saying, here, you know, here, Courtney, you know, you got to eat this, you got to eat that. You're not going to eat it, or you're going to overeat. So I ate the foods that I like, but I looked on the back and I limited my salt, I limited my sugar, because a lot of times sugar can make you bloat up. You be thinking, oh, it's too much sodium, when all in all, it could be sugar too. Right, you know? Right. Yeah. So you just have to look at the back of these, you know, and what's in there. And so what I did was, you know, I ate vegetables, protein. I just cut all these things out. And I got focused. You know, I would walk, I would exercise. You know, I would exercise, but not that much. I want to let everybody know what you put in your mouth is key, you know, because nutrition over exercising is always going to be key. I think people think I can go to the gym and lose all this weight, but you're still unhealthy. You're still eating all the wrong things. That's true. It's so true. So, you know, when I got, you know, I dropped so much weight, and people think it's in a little bit of time, but it's not. Yeah. It's within a year, you know. So I lost 86 pounds naturally, you know, no gimmicks, no nothing, no surgeries, no anything. And, you know, I felt good about it because I did it naturally. And you did the work. I can tell anybody, you can do it. 86 pounds, you know, I'm almost at 100. You can do it. It's no excuse. Come on. So, and I feel like if you write it down, whatever you eat, and you write it down, then you can go back and look and see, oh, this is what made me gain weight, and this is what made me lose weight. Yeah, it's showing up and doing work, like you said. You got to show up for yourself. Like, you can't think the doctor that is going to do it all. That's not their job. There's somewhere we got to meet them in the middle. I agree. So now we are still here. It's 2022. You are flaming in happiness. I love to see your joy, even in the midst of your challenges. So let's talk about the show, where it's at right now. Any future guests that we can look forward to, because I know you're doing a lot of things. And I want to know, because the viewers are just asking me, who has been your most inspirational guest that you've had on the show, and what was one thing that was said to you that kind of changed the outlook of your life? Oh my God, I had so many inspirational guests on my show. I can't even tell you, but everybody knows my mentor. I love her. She hasn't been on my show yet, but I interview at the OWN network. So I'm honored for Oprah, you know, for her giving myself and my fellow OWN ambassadors opportunities to, you know, to support the network. But I also, you know, aside from that, totally different. I am the media and, you know, interviewer at OWN as well. So those are two different things that I do with the OWN network. But Oprah is my inspiration because she's always giving back. You know, she's always helping somebody. You know, and I was at Cedars the other day. And I was waiting on to go in my appointment, and who name I see on the TV screen that's saying, you know, at Cedars, donated, you know, Oprah free. So, you know, Oprah, she's always helping and giving back silently. she doesn't do it boastfully. You know, she does it silently. And I like that. And that's what we have to do. You know, in our communities, we have to help one another. We have to give back. So that's why she's my inspiration. You know, created a book club because I love to read, you know, and not only that, you know, talk shows. She's paved the way for so many. I got a chance to interview Barbara Walters on Broadway in New York. That was a big interview. The Hiltons Paris and Nicole Hilton Paris, you know, Kathy and Richard. So, you know, it's been so many. Smokey Robinson, Chris Tucker. It's been a lot of people that I got a chance to interview, you know, that I was honored to, you know. It's been amazing journey, you know. And even still, you know, I was mentioning prior to you that, you know, in the beginning is when I started working with the Oprah Winfrey Network, you know, 2011 up in, you know, to now. And it feels so good, you know. And that was based on Twitter, you know. Can you imagine, you know?
Wow.
And then, you know, everything I got from online, you know, online. Okay, so not only that, TMZ contacted me on Instagram just based on the selfie and said, we love your content. We would love to have you come and commentate, you know, on TMZ. So that's how I got started on TMZ. Everything was online. Everything I've done from TV to, you know, just networks, different networks, I've gotten online.
Come on. And I think that
online is powerful.
It is very, very powerful, especially if you are intentional about your purpose, intentional about what you're called to do, and you do the work and you show up 110% every time, whether you know what you're doing or not. You know what I mean? And for you, you know, you've done so much, you know, being a best-selling author, you know, media personality well all around, an ambassador for the OWN network. Now that you kind of look back after doing all of that, what do you believe is your life's motto?
Well, I do want to mention this too, because I never, you know, some people never really talk about this. I had the Nikki Rich Show Hosting Academy where I help other TV hosts like yourself, you know, and graduate them. And I had them on my network. I had it was real nice.
Wow.
And
how long did you do that for?
I did it for like a year and a half.
Okay.
That's amazing. We graduated like 20 students.
Nice.
It was amazing. I would produce their show on my network.
Come on, guys.
And I had so many shows. It was crazy. and it was people, they wasn't trying to be a host. They had different things that they were doing, like a hairstylist. She's no longer with us, but her we create the hair by Shaylin. You know, that was her thing, you know. So I said, oh, let's turn it into a radio. You know,
why not? Right.
And then it was Soya, Body by Soya. So she had waist trainers and health and fitness tips, you know. So it was different. You know, we had different hosts, and it was cool. But
that sounds mind-blowing. Like, to be able to mentor a bunch of people and kind of help them cultivate and hone in on their craft. It was amazing. It was amazing. I showed them how to make money online as a radio host, but you know, some things didn't work out because people were scared. You can't be scared, you know. And if you are scared, I tell people this: if you are scared, it's okay. Jump in it afraid anyway. You know what I mean? Jump in it. You're never going to know what it feels like. You're never going to be able to touch down on the very thing that you say you want if you feel like being afraid is the thing that's stopping you. There's no excuse. You know what I mean? It's none.
Not. And if you fail, it's okay. You
right.
know, it's okay.
Because true failure is only failure when you give up. That's it. You have to be. I did this show. I started this show in 2010, and then I got sick. My kidney shut down, and I couldn't do it. I was like, it was a lot going on for me. But when I got my transplant, a year later, God was like, okay, so I gave you this gift. But you thought that it was gone. You thought that you were gonna just not do this. This is what I gave you. So you're gonna do the very thing that you said you wanted to do all of these years. I let you rest, but we got work to do. You know what I mean?
So how are you now after your transplant?
So I feel a lot better. And like, I was one of those people in the beginning who were afraid, right? I was very, very afraid because for me, I was looking at it like, dang, somebody has to die, or I got to get a living donor in order for it to happen for me, right? And in New York, the year starts from 3 to 5. It just changed literally when I got my transplant, where you can now be on the list and be ready to be called once you get approved. But when I started, we didn't have that. You know what I mean? So I had to wait. Then I got called. I got to the table, and then they rejected me when I got to the table. I had to wait 4 more years to get the kidney, and then I finally got it. And I'm like, okay, God, I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? Like, I got this, but then what happens next? You know what I'm saying? And that's the whole story in itself. You know what I'm saying? So I understand like the process of being afraid, right? The process of, okay, I don't know what I want to do because I'm scared that something may happen that's going to stop me from living in my purpose. But I'm like, you're never going to know that if you don't jump. You know what I mean? When I decided to do this, I jumped. I didn't know how I wanted it to look like when I came back, or what it was supposed to look like, but I knew that it was called. It was meant to be. And I didn't look back. I jumped, and I've been swimming ever since.
And look at you now.
Right, look at me now. You know what I'm saying? By the grace of God, you know? So when I think about the word faith, you know what I'm saying? And even in your space and all the things that you do, is that your foundation? Faith,
foundation.
And trusting God, you know?
God, He guides me.
Yes, yes, yes. So what do you have coming up that we can support and be a part of?
Well, right now, okay, I just did NAM. And right now I'm interviewing for Tribeca Film Festival. That's going on now and next week. And
do you have one out? You have one out there in LA?
Is it in New York, and I'm doing it virtually.
Oh, okay. Okay. I know I saw the one yesterday in New York. I stopped by for a little bit.
But I'm doing the virtual part.
Okay.
Because I'm not traveling.
Oh wow. So we definitely are going to support you with that. Let people know how they can follow you and be a part of anything you have going on.
You can follow me at Nikki Rich. Well, I just changed it back. You can follow me at Miss Nikki Rich and at The Nikki Rich Show on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And, you can check us out, thenickyrichshow.com, our official website. Anything you need to know, you can go there. I'll be going to Paris, to model.
Congratulations on your award.
Yay. Oh, yeah. Yes. London, they're awarding me for 100 business, women in business, top 100 women in business. So I'm honored that's my second time. So
nice. Come on, God. Come on. He will still work even when we are going through something circumstantial. He will still work in our lives and show us who's God at the end of the day. I am thankful to be able to have you on the show and have you on the platform. Thank you so much for your time. And trust me, you will remain in my prayers. I have been praying for you because, like I said, I believe in your healing. I believe that there's a transplant with your name on it. And we're not going to stop fighting until you write, I got called. Once I know I got the call, I'll be willing to jump and do backflips in here. Yeah. You know what I mean? But thank you so much, everybody. This is Miss Nikki Rich. Please make sure that you are following Just Because I Said So. We love you for watching, and we'll see you on another episode of One on One with Courtney Starks. Have a good one.